Dark Phoenix. It's the end. And until Marvel starts it all over again. That's how these things work.
It's the J. Craig movie review. The end of an era. Marvel's got the rights.
Dark Phoenix is the fourth and final, well, not final, but the end of this particular franchise. This is the fourth and final movie of this particular X-Men franchise. Simon Kinsberg is the director of this movie. This is his first time directing. Should be noted that Simon Kinsberg also wrote X-Men Last Stand. So he's got that going for him. Okay, so this movie is about Jean Grey. It's called Dark Phoenix. Not even X-Men Dark Phoenix, just Dark Phoenix. It is a good bookend to the series. And I love First Class, my favorite movie of the series. I love the direction. I wish Matthew Vaughn would have came back and finished off the story. But I don't think that they had an end game in mind, so to speak. I don't think they knew where they were going with the story when they first started it. So in the end, this movie feels like the end of a franchise, not the end of a story. Okay, and that's a little unfortunate. Now, this movie stars everyone that you know and love. Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, Tye Sheridan, Nicholas Hoult, Evan Peters, you name them. They're all in the movie. There's one character not in the movie, and we all know who he is. So this movie is about Dark Phoenix, about Jean Grey. And we learn a lot about her backstory, where she comes from, how she became involved with Professor X, and how he took care of her, and the lies that Professor X told her, and how those are going to affect the story. It's really about that relationship between Professor X and Jean Grey. That's the heart of the story, if it has a heart. And the movie starts off with showing some backstory, but then they go out in space to save some astronauts, because now the X-Men are called upon by the government to help out when they're needed. They go out to space, and she ends up absorbing some kind of a power, which essentially turns into a very powerful being, and she can't control it. She ends up hurting people she loves, and so she starts to run away, and now you have X-Men trying to save her, X-Men trying to stop her, and then of course you have Magneto and his group, and are they trying to stop her or save her? We don't know. Well, we do, but I'm not going to tell you. So that's the basis of the story, and it's about Jean Grey coming to terms with what she has and what she has to do with it, and there's a lot of character change in this movie. This affects every character in certain ways, and almost every character goes some kind of growth, which is why I like this movie more than I should. I like this movie more than I should, because they did something good with the characters. Now, everyone goes through a bit of an arc. Everyone has something that changes them, that they have to deal with, and I like it. Now, the acting is a bit flat, except for Jennifer Lawrence, I think. Everyone else seems a bit bored, somewhat flat in this movie. They just don't seem to have the the desire to be in this movie anymore. Maybe, I don't know, but it just feels a little flat. But everyone else, they all do a decent job, I guess. But everyone, now there's Evan Peters in the movie as Quicksilver, and you don't get his signature scene. We're waiting for it. It starts to happen. It's cut short, and then we don't see him. So it's a little surprising there. Okay, and what else? You have the ending, which I feel is rushed. I feel as a bookend. The story is not complete, I guess, the franchise is, but I feel the ending was rushed. I feel that it was like the closure wasn't there, and it was baffling to me, because, you have these 4 movies, we know all these characters, where's the closure? And the closure happens so quickly that I feel like it's shortchanged, like they could have done a little bit more. They don't have to go Endgame on it. They don't have to go Lord of the Rings, Return of the King ending, but they had to have some type of closure here. It just feels like, again, the end of a franchise, not the end of a story. All right. There is a big train sequence in the end of the story, which is a reshoot. I mentioned that there's a comparison to Captain Marvel, obviously. Now, the last scene of Captain Marvel was very similar to the Dark Phoenix scene, so they changed the ending completely. And now they have a train sequence, and it actually feels like a Marvel sequence. It really feels Marvel-esque. The framing, the use of powers, it just feels like Marvel was like, hey, can we help you with this? And they kind of, just gave him a little assistance there. It just feels Marvel-like. But again, in the end, you have a group of aliens or beings that are the villains in this movie. And again, he did write Last Stand, so I'm not too surprised that he didn't follow through with this. But they start off the movie, and they're a villain, and then there's a storyline for them that's there, a subplot, that just completely gets thrown away. And then we're left with some exposition told to us about, that they're going to take over. It's like, what? And then they're just it completely goes away. Now they're just the bad guy coming after, Jean Grey and trying to get her because of her power. And it's like, where's the storyline for them? Why did you throw it away? It just feels like they're just faceless. They're just faceless hordes again, and then we get enough of that. Where is the villain in this movie? And it kind of is Jean Grey in a way, but it's really not. It's these guys. And it just, where is your story? So there is some problems I have with this movie. The more I talk about it, the more I shouldn't like this movie. But they do enough with the characters that I enjoyed it. I thought it, ended off the franchise well enough. It could have been a lot better, let's face it. But I think they did a good job with what they have here. And, it ends it off. So now we have something to look forward to. Marvel's going to take over, right? And we'll have another franchise soon enough. Don't you worry, whether it's on TV, which is probably best for this particular story, episodic show, as opposed to some movies. But, we'll see. Hey, I hope you like this movie review for Dark Phoenix, the last of the X-Men movies. For now, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe over here. Like and follow the J. Craig. See you next time. Go see a movie.
It's the J. Craig Movie Review. You watch till the end. Thanks like